Of course, more thanks to people who are not parents for the kids here, but then who still came out of love for their presentation of regards for Swamiji and respect for Swamiji. Thank you. There's a YouTube, unlisted YouTube link for the parents who have their children up on the stage. So you can ask me or Sahadev will help you with the link. It's unlisted, so unless you share the link with someone, they can't watch that video. So.
Om Sahanavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. What is the role of astrology in spiritual life? Why? Please explain. Astrology has no role in spiritual life. Astrology is to try to find out something about future, and the concern about the future itself shows that we are much concerned about mundane things, and so we cannot connect astrology with spiritual life as such. Although astrology can certainly contribute in helping us making certain decisions in our day-to-day life or in our professional life, commercial life. But as far as the role of astrology in spiritual life is concerned, what is meant by spiritual life? One is, there are two aspects in our life. One is matter, other is spirit. So material life means a person who is focused upon the growth of matter, which is wealth, name, fame, etc. The spiritual life would mean that one is focused upon the growth of the spirit, the self, in terms of self-purification, based on the values as the children talked about, pursuit of knowledge, worship of Ishvara. All of this would be part of spiritual life. And usually astrology does not have much role to play as far as self-growth is concerned. But astrology may help somebody, but I do not see a direct connection between astrology and spiritual life or spiritual pursuit, because it is the spiritual life is life committed to the growth of spirit or growth of the self, where we pay attention to, as I said, the values, attention to pursuit of knowledge, attention to worship of Lord. And anybody can do this under any circumstances, so I at the moment do not see a great contribution that astrology may have in the spiritual life. Maybe an astrologer can tell us what is my disposition, how well am I disposed for a spiritual life, etc. Maybe that might help, but otherwise I do not see a great role of astrology in spiritual life. Any question? a friend or sibling is consistently disrespectful to you, and they covet your home or belonging or your personality, if we have been patient and understanding and we never retaliated, will that karma carry over to future lives? They will make it up to us and they will be reborn as our family member or co-worker. Is it not better to get even and finish the karma cycle in this life, especially with difficult, problematic persons? As far as relating to other persons is concerned, karma does not have much role to play, it's your values have a role to play. Your patience, your understanding, your compassion, kindness, if that is what are relevant in those situations. I don't think that you can connect this with karma, that his karma and my karma and we'll be born as my family members, etc. There is no relationship that I can see. Therefore, do not worry about this karma. Do not worry about rebirth. Either your rebirth or rebirth with other person. And do what is proper in the given situation. That's all I can say. I don't think karma and rebirth play any role as far as your interaction with the people is concerned. How do you apply the Vedanta teaching of Viveka and Vairagya to daily life relationships, such as parents, spouse, children? Viveka and Vairagya, do they have a role to play with reference to my relation with my parents, my spouse, my children? See, Viveka and Vairagya are basically values for self-growth and pursuit of knowledge, as Vedanta teaches. As far as the values in relationship are concerned, the values are one of compassion, of understanding, of mutual accommodation. They are the values that come into play when it comes to my relationship with other people. Vairagya, Viveka are with reference to my own personal growth. So Viveka and Vairagya apply to the individual, which give me a certain disposition of mind with which to pursue the knowledge. But Viveka, Vairagya have no role to play as far as my relationship is concerned. We possess Viveka, Vairagya, which means I possess a mind which is largely free of ragadvesha, that certainly would help me to demonstrate those values. Values, let us say such as compassion, will become more evident, more vairagya I have. Vairagya means that I do not have any great attachment to some material things, and therefore that will help me to be kind to other people because there is nothing much to lose. The difficulty that we have in practicing values in our daily life is that practicing any value always or generally requires letting go of something that is valuable to me. It may be some money, it may be my position, it may be my reputation, something or other is often at stake in practicing a value. And Viveka Vairagya, it is commitment to value and therefore the willingness to let go of the attachment. So practicing values in our daily life will require us to give up one of the attachments, something I want to hold on to. And usually that comes in the way of practicing a value. I want to hold on to money, that may come in the way of practicing honesty. I want to hold on to some person, which may come in the way of practicing equality or fairness. And therefore attachment to something that is material is what comes in the way of practicing values. And therefore, practicing any value will require me to give up one or the other kind of attachment. And that is how I become free. I think that by protecting my attachment that I am protecting myself. But by protecting my attachments I am only binding myself. Values require me to give up the attachment, and that way values are conducive to creating freedom. But freedom requires giving up attachment, and that may be difficult. We have commitment to values, are we ready to give up attachment to something or the other? How can we teach our children these qualities at a young age if we can learn to practice these qualities? The best way to teach our children is by setting an example. The extent to which we practice these values, automatically it will be conveyed to the children, because children are always observing. They observe the elders very keenly, and they have their own assessment. And so when some lady was talking to me, a little young child was saying, "Mom, you are lying." I said it openly. The children are honest entities, and they have nothing to lose, therefore they can be honest. And when we are teaching them values, they expect us also to follow those values. But the right way of teaching anything to children is by setting an example, living those things away. Yad yada acharati shreshtaha tatta devetaro janaha. Lord Krishna says, whatever an elder person does, the younger one generally follows that, imitates that. Because younger people do not have ability to think on their own. And therefore they are more likely to imitate what the elders are doing. And so when we are an elder, it becomes, we have a responsibility that there are those who look upon me, or look up to me. And therefore what I do, the way I conduct myself is important, because they are looking up to me, and therefore I must set an example for them. Each one of us is important for somebody. If my child, my younger brother, my sibling, somebody or other looks up to me, and therefore each one has a responsibility to live up to the expectation of a role that we are playing. Does Nachiketa's name have a meaning in Sanskrit? Is there a Padat? Nachiketa is the name of fire, in fact. And some of the other meanings are given, but Nachiketa is the name of the fire which arrived from the name Nachiketa, because Yamaraja blessed him. But I do not quite remember, the meaning of the word Nachiketa. They have derived something or the other. But I often cannot recollect the meaning of the word Nachiketa. Can you explain the meaning of the word, the sloga Purnamadah Purnamidam? Adaha means that which is remote. Idam means that which is evident. Idam means this. Adaha means that. So Purnam Adaha, that is Purnam, is whole or complete. Idam, this is whole or complete. So what is that? What is Paroksha? What is not evident? Ishvara is Paroksha, Brahman is Paroksha. Therefore, that stands for Brahman is complete. Idam means this stands for something that is evident to me, this universe also is complete. How can you say that? Because Purnat Purnam Udachyate. Purnam Adaha Purnamidam. Purnam Adaha, two words are there, Purnam and Adaha. Adaha, that is Purnam. Brahman is Purnam. Idam, this is Purnam. The universe also is Purnam. How do you say that? Second line is Purnat Purnam Udachyate. Purnat, from Purna. Purnam Udachyate. From Purna emerges, arises Purnam. Because what can come out from Purnam is Purnam. Inasmuch as the universe also has emerged from Brahman, there also Purnam. How can you say Swami, universe is Purnam? So then second line shows the method Purnasya Purnamadaya. Recognizing the Purnatvam in the universe also, because when you see the ornaments emerge from gold, the ornaments are really nothing other than gold, except gold has now acquired various names and forms. Therefore, when ornaments with their names and forms, recognize the names and forms, that is incidental. What essential in ornaments is gold, and thus if you look upon the ornaments as gold, then you find that ornaments are also complete. They are also gold. So universe also has emerged from Purna or Brahman, and so we realize that universe also nothing but manifestation of Brahman. As you see that, every name and form is manifestation of Asti, Bhati, Priyam. Satchit Ananda, Satyam Jnanamanandam or Brahma. In that way, Brahman, the cause, is Purnam. Universe effect also is Purnam, because from the cause, effect comes out. To see what is Purnam in the effect, then recognize that in effect there is universe, there is something that is incidental, name and form, something that is essential, which is Asti Bhati Priyam. And that we realize that the essential nature of what we call universe also is Purnam. Idam can also means this one, that Brahman is Purnam, Jivatma also is Purnam, because Jivatma also is essentially nothing but consciousness. And that way, what is Purnam in that way. In office, when we are negotiating salary, do we do so because we are dissatisfied with what we have? Or is it because we want the other person or the company to understand our worth? Both are there. I negotiate salary because I think that what I'm getting is not enough. And the reason why I ask for a greater salary is to show that I'm worth more than what I'm compensated for. So both are involved. I realize other people are perhaps compensated more than what I am compensated as far as the general standard of the company is concerned. And therefore, I think that I am worth more than what they recognize me for. And with that, you can definitely... Now, there are ways of asking and negotiating, etc., without putting yourself in risk of, losing your job, etc., etc., but otherwise... Of course, we can ask ourselves is a person, the reason why I'm asking for more salary is because I'm greedy? Is it because I think that they don't understand my value? We can look at our own, the reason why we are, or am I jealous of somebody who's getting more than I'm getting? I'm greedy because I'm not satisfied with what I'm getting? Or I think that my employers don't value me enough? There can be various reasons why I'm asking for a raise or a greater salary. And there's nothing wrong if I think that I'm worth more than what I'm compensated for. But I'm sure that you will look at the circumstances and then approach the management, whether management respects you as you respect yourself. Philosophically, how do you know how much you are worth? Philosophically, I don't know. Materially. Because measuring my worth in money is basically a material thing. And I know what my qualifications are, what my experience is, what other people are in this organization getting, etc. And that's the way to understand and discover your worth. There's nothing philosophical about this. It's a material thing, There's nothing wrong in it. Nothing wrong. We are living in material world, therefore there's nothing wrong in asking for appropriate material compensation. You must recognize that you should not put yourself in danger, of losing everything that you have. So. What's the difference between Atma and personality? Sometimes we explain ourselves as made up of two aspects, the person and the personality. Person is Atma, the self, the consciousness. Personality is the costume that the person has put on. Personality consists of body, sense organs, mind, intellect. And the person, the Atma, the self, requires the vehicle of personality in order to communicate, interact with the world. So we are a combination of Atma and Anatma, person and personality, the actor and the costume. So this body, mind, sense complex can be equated to costume, which Atma, the self, is putting on in order to interact in the world. And so difference is similar to that between the actor and the costume. What's the difference between Atma and personality? Similar to that between the actor and the costume. And that costume enables you to play a variety of roles. So personality also enables me to play a variety of roles, sometimes father, sometimes son, mother, daughter, teacher, student, etc. Does one get enlightenment in the flesh while doing japam or meditation, or is it a gradual process? Our Swami used to ask a question, when did you learn English? Well, learning English is a process. And so also growing into knowledge and abiding in knowledge also is a process. Although it's sounds very, what shall I say, romantic, that there is a flash and things like that, but basically Vedanta teaches the process of self-growth. We have to grow in our emotional maturity, in our intellectual understanding, and thus it is the process of self-growth. And you keep growing, and that way you discover a greater and greater satisfaction within yourself, greater and greater peace and contentment within yourself, and that is the process. Are all Swamis and Swaminis enlightened? That is again putting me on the spot, But everybody is enlightened. Even when we are told that we are Brahman, we have that knowledge to whatever extent that we have. What subsequent time and exposure to this teaching does is it removes the obstacles for assimilating and abiding in the knowledge. So, when I explain to you that, hey, you are consciousness, manifesting through this body-mind complex, it becomes clear to you. And that the body-mind, the personality is the vehicle for your manifestation, that difference becomes clear. What happens is that for so long we have been taking the body to be the self, that this insight that we had in a given circumstance doesn't remain with us. This Swamiji, as soon as I walk out of this hall and put on my slippers and again the whole samsara comes back. Somebody asked Ramakrishna Paramahamsa that how come they say that when you take a dip in the Ganges, all your sins get washed out? We find these fellows taking dips every day and still they're the same. So in a humorous manner, Ramakrishna explained that when they take a dip in the Ganges, they take out their clothes and put it on the ghat. When he takes a dip in the Ganges, all his sins leave him and stick to his clothes. When he puts them on, they come back again. So enlightenment comes, but then these things again come back. And therefore, you have to keep on asserting again and again, because that habit, old habit of taking myself to be Jivatma is so deeply rooted. It is overcoming this habitual error which is the main process. And that requires our growth in terms of removal of ragadveshas, growing in our values, in understanding, in contemplation. All of these things are to go on constantly and build so that we become slowly and slowly abiding or established in the knowledge. So all of you have knowledge. Why Swamis and Swaminis? All of you know what you are. and that everything is Brahman is something that is what we have heard and we understand also. Maybe our habitual error of taking ourselves to be so and so overcomes again and again, and therefore that clarity of knowledge doesn't remain. I would think that everybody knows, and everybody has to work in order to gain that abundance in knowledge, so that then alone knowledge becomes useful. The knowledge here has to come here. When it comes here, then it becomes, the practical knowledge, abiding knowledge. And that effort we have to make, all of us. Why is it that onion and garlic are not included in sattvic diet? Yatayamam gatarasam pudi paryushyitam sayat. Bhagavad Gita describes three kinds of diet or, sattvic, rajas and tamas. And that which is smelling or stinking, they are placed in the category of tamasic diet. So onion and garlic would be placed in that category. Although Ayurveda will say that onion and garlic are very helpful for our physical body, but certainly they will have an effect on the mind which would be not conducive for peace of mind or tranquility of mind. Therefore, those things are avoided. They are classified as tamasic food, and because they have that kind of effect on the mind, and that is why they are not included in sattvic diet. Whether to eat onion and garlic is personal choice, but this is the reason. How can you help someone who mainly has rajas predominant type personality have more sattvic elements? This sentence is not very clear to me. How can you help someone who mainly has rajas predominant type of personality have more sattvic element? I don't know, what is the... If somebody can explain the question, then perhaps...
I can try, Swami. I can try. It's not my question, but I can.
Okay.
I think the question is asking how we can, make a person who is predominantly rajasic to also have sattvic qualities.
I would rather change the question to how can I make myself from rajas to sattva? Somebody else may have whatever personality they have. We can help ourselves. I don't know how we can help others. And so, yes, the question can be, and everybody has rajas, all of us have sattva, rajas, tamas in one measure or the other. And the process is to convert tamas into rajas and rajas into sattva. So Lord Krishna says to Arjuna, because Arjuna became tamasic. When Arjuna said, Nayotse, I will not fight, he laid down his bow and arrow and became inactive. Lord Krishna says that means more than inactivity, do something. So doing something or performing karma is rajas is better than tamas, where you become inactive. Therefore, from tamas to rajas is activity. Do something. Perform your duty. That's what Lord Krishna said to Arjuna. For the one who is performing duty, then he is told how to transform rajas to sattva, perform a duty in the spirit of a contributor. So try to become selfless. So selfless is a sattvic person. An active person, a rajasic person, an inactive person is tamasic person. So Arjuna became tamasic. So Lord Krishna says that at least perform your duty. And therefore, karma jyayo hya karmana sharira yatra pijate na prasiddhyeda karmana. Niyatam kuru karmatvam karma jyayo hya karmana sharira yatra pijate na prasiddhyed akarmana. Karma jyayo hya karmana. Performing action is at any rate better than being inactive. If you become inactive, then Lord Krishna says, even your body also cannot be sustained. Because sustaining your body, you require the cooperation of all the elements, and unless you contribute to them, they also admonish Arjuna to perform his duties. And so from tamas to rajas, when he starts performing action, he says, now perform action in the spirit of, contributor. So that is to transform rajas to sattva, become contributor. Now you can give up your karma and pursue knowledge and transcend all the three gunas. What is the view of rituals in Vedanta? And Vedanta or whatever, rituals. What is the role of rituals? A ritual is a particular form given to us to perform the worship. So how do I worship the Lord? Ritual is a systematic way of performing the worship. It involves certain steps. It may be a 16-step, ritual, Shodasa Upachara Puja, sometimes Panchopachara Puja, sometimes even more elaborate. The purpose of ritual is to be able to express our devotion in action. It's not enough that we have the spirit of bhakti in our mind, but that should be brought out in action, and that is called a ritual. So ritual gives us a very systematic way of making offering to the Lord. And it can be very elaborate, it can be simpler, it can be up to our choice. But that's the role of ritual. The ritual enables me to make the spirit of worship is expressed in a systematic manner before the Lord in the various steps. Swami, Hindu religion is all ritualistic, all ritual, too much ritual. My question is there something that is not a ritual? So this is also a ritual. Then you write a question in a piece of paper and then I read and reply. It's also a ritual. You want to have your dinner and you stand in line, help yourself with the food, come down to the dining table. It's a ritual. And then also there's a way of eating also. I mean, you don't just, start with dessert first, you start with. And so we start. The mother would say, first eat roti, then eat this, then eat that. And don't do like this, don't eat this way. And so all this that we taught properly, how to eat. And don't soil all your hand, just Only first two, half the finger, that's all should be soil, no more than that. So this is how we have to be properly trained in order to even perform the act of eating properly. There's always a proper way of doing everything. That's called ritual. And thus anything you want to do properly, it will become a ritual. How can I balance taking care of myself, meditation practice, eating well, sleep, exercise, with helping others without being selfish? Am I selfish when I take care of myself? No. If you discover that people need your help, then maybe it may be proper for you to let go of some of your self-help and reach out to others. But best is to help yourself and then reach out to others. Although your self-help should not consume everything. I have no time, Swamiji. In the morning I do pranayama, then I can do, then this is so. Everywhere there has to be boundaries, as to how much responsibility you have to the family, to society, to others, That is why in our Vedic culture, that the householder was supposed to perform 5 kinds of yajnas. Yajna means an offering. And so Brahma yajna offering to rishis in terms of reciting the Vedas. Deva yajna in terms of performing, worship of the devatas. And then offering food to atithis or to the guests. Supporting the plants, vegetables, etc. around yourself. And then making offerings to the ancestors. So all these form the larger family. And the household is the very pivot of the entire universe. So it takes care of Pitrus who are in Pitruloka, Devatas in Devaloka, Rishis who are there, other human beings who are needy in his own family. So this was the extent of the duty in the Vedic times that the householder had. Whatever way we can do right these days, it may not be very practical, but the idea is that I am a member of a large family. Immediate family certainly gets the predominance, but then there are larger families also, and I should be aware of that and do whatever I can. So that takes care of all the questions. And we'll conclude with bhajan. I will invite Rohini Ma'am to
Om Namah Paramahansa Swadit चरणकमलचिन्मकरन्दाय भक्तजनमानसनिवासाय श्रीरामचन्द्राय बन्दौ गुरुपदकञ्ज कृपा सिन्धु नररूपहरि महामोहतमपुञ्ज जासुबचन रबिकर निकर। થોડું કરી દો તો સારું પછી. यत्र यत्र रघुनाथकीर्तनं तत्र तत्र कृतमस्तकाञ्जलिं बाष्पवारि परिपूर्णलोचनं मारुतिं नमत राक्षसान्तकं सिय राममय सब जग जानी करहूँ प्रणाम जोरी जुग पानी. Swamiji is explaining that when are you contented or क्या बोलते हैं धन्य. I am so much benevolent, privileged कि आज धन्य मैं धन्य अति परिसर निद पद मग रे ग म प मग रे प मग रे ग नि ज रे म ग रे रे म प नि द प म प नि 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 सा. आज धन्य मैं धन्य अति यद्यपि सब विधिहीन. I don't have anything, but still with God's grace, what do I have? He considers as his own. निज जन जानी राम मोहि संत समागम दीन. In this Kalikal, it is very difficult to have Sant Sang. Then what is the reason? What it will give us? Sant Sanga apavarga kar kami bhavakar pantha kahi sant kavi ko bidar shruti purana sad grantha. धन्य घड़ी सोई जब सत संगा धन्य जन्म हरि भगति अभंगा. धन्य घड़ी सोई जब सत संगा धन्य जन्म हरि भगति अभंगा. जाऊं कहाँ तजी चरण कहते हैं, हे प्रभु, आपके चरण छोड़कर मैं कहाँ जाऊं? I have never heard so much graceful Lord like you. क्यों? जिन्होंने पशु पक्षी सबको बुला बुला कर उसका उद्धार किया है कि जाऊं कहाँ तजी चरण तुम्हारे, काको नाम पतित पावन जग, काको नाम पतित पावन जग, की अति दीन प्यारे, जाऊं कहाँ तजी, जाऊं कहाँ तजी, जाऊं कहाँ तजी, जाऊं कहाँ तजी चरण तुम्हारे। कौने देवा बराई बिरदाहित, हठी हठी अधम उधारे, जाऊं कहाँ तजी चरण तुम्हारे। प्रत्येक के उदाहरण मानस में देते हैं। खग, मृग, व्याध, पशान, बिटप, जड़, आपने सबको तारा है, तो मैं आपके चरण से दूर क्यों जाऊं? खग, मृग, व्याध, पशान, बिटप, जड़, जवन कवन सुरतारे, जाऊं कहाँ तजी चरण तुम्हारे, काको नाम पतित पावन जग, की अति दीन प्यारे, जाऊं कहाँ तजी चरण तुम्हारे। देव दनुज मुनि नाग मनुज सब, माया बिबस बिचारे, बिचारे, माया बिबस बिचारे, तिनके हाथ दास तुलसी प्रभु, कहाँ अपनों पोहारे, जाऊं कहाँ तजी, जाऊं कहाँ, जाऊं, जाऊं कहाँ तजी चरण तुम्हारे, जाऊं कहाँ तजी चरण तुम्हारे। यही भाव अंगद जी भगवान के समक्ष रखते हुए कहते हैं, अशरण शरण बिरुद संभारी, मोहि जनि तजहु भगत भयहारी, अशरण शरण बिरुद संभारी, मोहि जनि तजहु भगत हितकारी, मोरे तुम प्रभु गुरु पितु माता, जाऊं कहाँ तजी पद जल जात, मोरे तुम प्रभु गुरु पितु माता, जाऊं कहाँ तजी पद जल जाता, राम है मातु पिता गुरु बंधु संगी सखा सुत राम सनेही जियत राम मुए पुनि राम सदा रघुनाथ ही की गति है सोई जिए जग में तुलसी न तू और सबे विष बीज बहे। गोस्वामी जी ने बचपन में अपने माता पिता का प्यार खो दिया था, इसलिए कहते कि वॉट एवर इज देयर एवरीथिंग इज ओनली राम नाम फॉर मी। राम नाम इज माई मदर, राम नाम इज माई फादर, एवरीथिंग। कि राम है मातु पिता गुरु बंधु और संगी सखा सुतर राम सनेही। He sells to God that I am not worried that even if you don't meet me, but I have your name. इसलिए मैं केवल नाम से प्यार करता हूँ। राम, जब राम दिल में बस गया तब शांति सुख की बहार है। अभिमान दिल से जाएगा तब राम सत्वर आएगा। बन जा चकोरा जानकी प्रिय राम श्री मुख चंद्र का। बन जा दीवाना प्राण वल्लभ राम दशरथ नंद का। प्रभु मैं हूँ तेरा तू है मेरा, कह दो बस एक ही दफा। सो वचन तेरी वाणी का मेरे जीवन का है नफा। सो वचन तेरी वाणी का मेरे जीवन का है नफा। जब वस्त्र खूब मलिन है तब रंग कैसे चढ़ाओगे। अभिमान दिल से जाएगा तब राम सत्वर आएगा। अभिमान दिल से जाएगा तब राम सत्वर आएगा। श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम। श्री राम जय जय राम। श्री राम जय जय राम। श्री राम जय 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 राम। सीताराम
सीताराम
जय जय राम सीताराम।
जय जय राम सीताराम।
राजा राम सीताराम।
राजा राम सीताराम।
श्री राम जय जय राम।
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 जय जय राम।
जय जय राम।
मोह समदीन दीन हित तुम समान रघुवीर। अस विचारी रघुवंशमणि हरहु विषम भववीर। कामी नारी प्यारी जिमी लोभी प्रिय जिमी दाम। तिमि रघुनाथ निरंतर प्रिय लागहु मोहि राम। कहु दंडवत प्रभु से तुम ही कहु कर जोरी। बार बार रघुनायक ही सुरति करायहु मोरी। धर्मनिष्ठोऽस्मि न चात्मवेदी न भक्तिमास्त्वच्चरणारविन्दे अकिञ्चनो नान्यगतिः शरण्यं त्वत्पादमूलं शरणं प्रपद्ये। सियावर रामचंद्र की जय, पवन सुत हनुमान की जय, उमापति महादेव की जय, सद्गुरु भगवान की जय। ओ नमः पार्वती पते हर हर महादेव।